At the end, before she left, she came up to me and she confessed. She said, "You know what? I'm so embarrassed. I broke this." She said, "Please discount it from my pay." How could I? How could I? How could I ever think of something like that? You are the person I've been looking for. For weeks, I've been looking for you. I've been looking for you. You are heaven sent. You are an envoy. You are a messenger of God. Hello everyone, welcome once again to the channel. My name is Mars Molina, and I have dedicated my life to the study and the implementation of ancient knowledge in our modern world. My aim is to support people into looking deeper so that they can understand themselves better and that they awaken to their true nature, which allows them to achieve health, prosperity, and happiness. So welcome to this channel. If you go along the channel, you will find many videos with different exercises, practices, meditation, contemplation, journaling, and reflection that you can use to support your life today. And if you find the information that I share here interesting and useful, then I'll be more than happy to invite you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, leave a comment below of anything that stood out to you or anything that you would like to hear me talk about again in the future. And today I want to talk about two things mainly: Mercury retrograde and manifestation. I want to talk about this recent transit of Mercury retrograde that involved Mars. I spoke about it in other videos, and also the transit of Saturn retrograde and what my personal experience was. And one thing I want to mention, as it is always my intention, is that you can listen to this and you can resonate with it, and there is an element of spirituality, there's an element of magic, there's an esoteric element. But once again, my aim is that we understand that these are things that are presented in an ancient language, in an ancient presentation, but we are able to, so to speak, translate them into our modern world. So never think that when I'm talking about a particular theme in a scripture, or if I'm talking about energy, I'm talking about chakras, I'm talking about planets, I'm talking about Jyotish, which is Vedic astrology, it is not meant to be only that. That is just, let's say, the system that I'm using. But the idea is that you and I connect. The idea is that you allow me to speak to you and that you understand the things that I am saying at a deeper level. So for example, the transits. I mainly talk about the transit for those people who may be aware of the transit happening. Maybe there are people who, like me, they are very passionate about astrology and Vedic astrology, and they want to resonate with it and have a rough idea of what it is. But even if you have no knowledge of it, this information can still be valuable for you. So you see, when a transit is happening, such as the infamous Mercury retrograde, it is not that anything negative is happening. Transit themselves are neither good nor bad. What is understood as a transit can also be understood as a certain theme taking place, as a certain density or a more dense accumulation of a particular type of circumstance or theme or energy happening in our lives. Have you ever noticed that in your life there are certain periods where certain themes are definitely at play, and that you can start understanding that there's a pattern at play, there's a pattern going on. And the more aware you are of it, I'm sure you've noticed, the better you come out of it. Namely, these are chances in which we get to concentrate, we get to focus on themes such as our vitality, such as our intellect. Maybe the theme is more related to our emotions, maybe it's more related to how we behave in society, how we behave with ourselves. Maybe it's more about relationships, maybe it's about a specific type of relationships, maybe it's about our relationship to the world. So you see, these are themes that are taking place in our lives. The transits are like that. And even if you know nothing about astrology, if we look at your life in, let's say, a biography, or you do an autobiography of your life, and we look at when certain things were taking place, well, what I do is that I look at your chart and I can clearly see, well, yes, of course, in that period, you were going through a breakup because this is happening in your chart. Or you were getting promoted and you were also getting married. You were getting all these blessings because all this can be seen in the chart. So what we have here, whether we know the astrology or not, first and foremost, an opportunity for us to understand ourselves in the contrast, in the context of these themes better. And really, that's the most important part, that we understand the theme better, because once we detect that there's a theme going on, that means that we have greater awareness. And remember, it's always a game of attention, it's a game of awareness when you want to evolve as a person. Because once you have that awareness, I'll say, I know that this theme is taking place, then you can start shifting your mentality. You're no longer within the box of the unknown of what this theme may be. Once you are aware of the theme, it is understood, it is within your comprehension. So you are no longer held by it, you are, as it were, above it. And that gives you a greater, let's say, feeling of space to input a bit more willpower and start doing the actions that you will see that at the end of the day, they allow you to come out of this period of dense energy, of transit, of theme with a little bit more awareness, a little bit more evolution. Really, it's slightly more enlightened. And really, that is the name of the game, slightly more enlightened, to be guided on this journey towards the light a little bit more. Each transit is in your favor should you see it as that, should you see it as that opportunity. And the reason why I want to talk about manifestation as well, or the way I want to connect with manifestation, is not just so that we can appreciate or attempt maybe manifestation at a physical level, but maybe a little bit deeper in something that behaves more in how we feel about the world. So let's break it down. And I want to preface this by asking you to think about the following statement that I wrote for today. You can take a deep breath now. You can even close your eyes. You can even pause the video for a moment if you so desire. I want you to think about something that's missing. Think about something that's missing in your world today. If you want, you can also think of something that's just missing in the world today. So it may be something in your vicinity, in your life, in your current experience, or something grander in the world, meaning it can be something that you want right now. Maybe you want health. Maybe you want to feel a little bit more fulfilled and content. Maybe it's wealth. Maybe it's money. Maybe you want to think more about the world and you find that the world needs more, perhaps, resources, or perhaps we need more access to education. All these are very valid. Or perhaps you can think about something that may be missing in your heart. Maybe you feel like you're missing some love, some connection. Maybe you feel like there's some anger there, something that doesn't feel quite right in the heart. And I'm sure that just by me talking about it, you can easily start going towards there. But here's the kicker. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I emphasize a lot that we should not focus on the negative. We should also not overlook the negative. That's also not the name of the game. But we should neither ignore it, nor should we focus on it. If we really want to manifest, it is not about focusing on what's missing or the lack. It's more about something that is greater, more uplifting, and positive. That is, however, related to that which we feel is lacking. So you see, it's similar to what I said earlier about the transits or the dense periods or the themes, especially when they're challenging. They are here to serve us, given that we want it to serve us. And the way we show that want is by focusing on the positive. And the key word here is the want, because I mentioned that there is something that relates to that feeling of lack, but is more uplifting, that is going to elevate us, and is related to want. What am I talking about? Of course, I am talking about desire. What is the desire truly that we hold? We don't want the world to stop war. What we desire is peace, communication, understanding, and exchange. You don't want to cease the arguments between your family, coworkers, or partner. What you want is understanding, peace, love, connection. So Focusing on the actual desire is a key point of manifestation. You don't want to be less worried about bills. You desire the experience of freedom, of vitality, of joy, even as you're using your wealth to pay your bills and to be able to bring more experiences of wealth into your life. The language changes a lot the experience. Just by changing the language, you may change your posture about it, your disposition about it, and the whole experience changes so very much. And you see, manifestation is not just about manifesting the partner or the car or the money or all these things of desire, but it can be deeper. It can be about understanding what's missing in the world, your heart. And then there's something more about bringing that into reality. I want to break that down today. And I'll talk about my experience through this Mercury retrograde. And hopefully, we can drive that point across, if I am allowed to, where we can see deeper. What is it that we desire? And can there be possibly a roadmap that we can apply it in ourselves so we can see it more in the world? Can we truly change the world through manifestation? Little parenthesis here, there's a lot of traffic today. So a lot of people doing their holiday shopping, no doubt, and getting ready for our holidays. So you may hear a lot of sounds coming from the outside, like honking and whatnot. So I apologize for that. So talking about this retrogression of Mercury retrograde with Mars and Saturn was retrograde, uh, I would say this is the toughest Mercury retrograde that I have faced in ever since I can remember, ever since I've been aware of it, ever since I started studying Vedic astrology, Jyotish, since 2017. As far as I know, this has been the toughest one. And I say this, yes, because I want to be a little bit transparent, but also because I want to drive home the point that when we study these things, whether you're religious or spiritual, whether you do yoga or Buddhism or metaphysics, it is never about perfecting life. It's not about getting life perfect on the first try and you become enlightened and you are never going to be hurt or you're never going to hurt anybody. No, that's perhaps a level that is reserved for the highest echelons of masters out there that they do reach. But the truth is that I don't consider myself an enlightened person. Uh, but by that standard, I consider myself a lucky person that I've been in touch with people who have guided me in the spectrum of enlightenment further towards where I want to be. I don't consider myself any type of saint or guru or anything like this. You will never hear me say that I am those things, right? I am just a person. I am just a human being who is trying their darndest hardest to understand how these ancient things that resonate so deeply with the heart have place today. And I would say a very important place today. So please know that whether you look at someone for spirituality or astrology or religion, you should never try to think that their lives are meant to be perfect, right? Even the greatest teacher of astrologer will also, stub their little toe in the corner of the furniture during Mercury retrograde and yell and curse, right? But I did mention that it's all about having more awareness, greater and greater awareness, and that's definitely what this period brought me because this was the toughest Mercury retrograde that I've had. But I'm very happy to report that it's also one that I saw coming, and I tried my best to prepare for it and to face it. Because again, it's all about periods, right? So it's about a period that is coming and that you are aware of your preparation. So I see the period of Mercury coming, and I can already tell that I've been perhaps uh, positioning myself in a way that I knew that this particular wave of Mercury retrograde was going to hit me harder, and it totally did. And so there's no how can I say it? There's no anger towards myself about it. because there's awareness, right? So imagine that you are about to go into a race, right? You've been preparing for a marathon, but a couple weeks before the marathon, you get a lot of cravings for sweets, right? So you know the marathon is coming, and you it's not about making a perfect decision, saying like, no, I 100 avoided the sweets. If you can do that, that's great. But if you've been doing marathons for 20 years, I'm sure one of those times, most humans will be like, okay, a couple weeks before the marathon, I've been eating so well, but I get my chance to have these sweets, so I'm just gonna have them, and there's a consequence for it. But a good, in good sport, a good sportsmanship person, human, adult would be aware of it and say, okay, I ate one too many cakes, one too many ice creams in preparation for this marathon. That means I need to exercise a little bit more, watch the diet even more strictly, and do a little bit more cardio and preparation towards it. Otherwise, I'm really going to feel it during the race. So it is exactly like that, right? I've been working with my Mercury in a particular way, and I've been challenging certain things within my life and within myself. And I knew this was going to be a tougher Mercury retrograde period, and so it is what it is. Once again, as I've said, probably since I remember 2017 is the first time I wrote this phrase in one of my books of the course that I was teaching back then about the foundation of yoga. It is not about perfection. It is not about perfection. It is about virtue. Or in a more friendly way, the way I also love saying it is, stay a little longer, try a little harder. It's not about perfection. It's not about perfection. It's about humanity. It's about trying the hardest. But let's move on to like what my experience with this Mercury retrograde was, and how it allowed me to see the theme and come out of it. And I really hope I can drive this point, because my aim here today is that you can start really feeling the themes of your life more and more, that you awaken more, that you notice them more, and that you come out the other side with greater awareness and seeing more in life of what you desire. So for me, this period of Mercury retrograde and all these placements, if you want to know the specific planetary placements, you can look at some other of my videos. This period 100% was about broken trust. Very important things that we face in life. Broken trust hurts a lot. If you break somebody's trust, you'll hurt them deeply. The more they trust you, of course. And when someone breaks your trust, they hurt you, and it inconveniences life to such a great degree. And that is the theme that I saw. As you may know, I moved to my new home recently, and the broken trust theme came about in many different ways, whether it was the people in the building who assured me that I would have high-speed internet, and it wasn't true. For example, they were telling me that I would have access to a safe network that was private for me, and it never worked. And the more that I kind of asked them about it, the more they would like delay their communication. They would like point out to something in the contract that was unrelated. So they were playing all these like mind games, right? And I'm quite experienced with contracts myself. Like I've never signed a contract that I have not read myself. I'm that kind of person that will actually read the fine print. I will take today. What I do is that I also take pictures of it, and I post it on ChatGPT, on Gemini, on all the models, and I say, tell me everything about this contract, break it down for me. What are the things that are convenient for me? What are the things that are unclear? What are the things that are inconvenience for me? So I am quite careful for these things, and I knew something was up. I knew something was going on that they didn't want to tell me. And that's the thing. If you want to talk about transits, uh, we are in the Scorpio season, and during this transit, I did explain that Mars was behaving as if it was in retrogression because it was conjunct with Mercury that was going through the retrogression. And what happens is that Mars is the Lord of Scorpio. Scorpio is the eighth house, and there are two things that happen through all this situation with the internet and the moving and other situations that take place. But I'll focus on the internet part of things. It's that there were secrets. The eighth house is one of the houses of secrets. there's another one that's also related. That's the fourth house. That's Cancer, and it's a home secret. And then the eighth house and all these elements of secrecy relates to deep underground. And when I understood what was really going on in the building, that's when it all became clear. And really, what was happening is that the people of the building, they didn't want to give just one private network per apartment. They just wanted all the apartments to share it. I just moved here, right? And I said, well, that will just not fly because I can't share my internet, because I want a reliable high-speed internet connection, because I want to do my videos, because I speak with all of you, people from all over the world who graciously give me their time and who make donations or who make a contribution to me. And to me, it would be disrespectful to not have a safe and reliable high-speed internet connection that I can provide my services with. And also because it's agreed in the contract. It actually took almost 2 months for me to have internet. They just installed it 2 days ago on the last day of the Mercury retrograde. Of course, it had to be on the last day of the retrogration. But you see, because they had a secret about it that I end up discovering, it allowed me to feel that these people are not in it for a fair deal. They're trying to get away with something that to me is not the right way to do things. So because the secret was there, it exacerbated the particular transit. So it became denser, it became harder to fix. So I ended up realizing that I wasn't getting anywhere with these people. And I said, okay, I'm not going to let this stop me. I am going to get internet no matter what. So I call a reliable internet company and I say, okay, you know what? Come install service at home for me. I ended up having to do that. And even though I'm already paying for internet in my contract, I'm going to have to pay for it twice. Now I ended up hiring another internet company, and I will take the loss because sometimes you can't win in these things. And continue arguing with them really was like going nowhere. So it was very unfortunate, and it allowed me to see, like, again, that element of broken trust. Now, it took the other internet company probably 2 weeks to come install the internet, and I think that's not an unreasonable time frame given that they tell you in advance, right? If you call the internet company, they say, you know what, we're so busy, it'll take us a couple of weeks to give you your internet. I think any reasonable person would receive that, and no matter how you may receive it in that moment, you'll think, well, I rather prepare myself. I rather buy, rent an office in the meantime, and I'll figure out, what I'll do in that period. But of course, that internet company, they had many, many troubles installing the internet here at home. Like I say, they only finished doing it a couple of days ago on the 28th, which is again the last day of the transit of the retrogression of Saturn and Mercury. But I also understood that the reason why one of the reasons why it took them so long to do it is because they also had a secret that they didn't want to tell me, which is that it was going to take a lot of effort because they actually needed to go underground to install it instead of just using the already available, I don't know, antennas and things that the engineers have available. So when I realized that they had to go underground, that's when I knew, okay, Scorpio once again is just at play here. And when it did actually come to pass that they installed the internet, I found it hilarious that I kept, calling them and messaging them, and they kept calling me. So many technicians came and went, so many times. And I didn't like that we were basically wasting their time because of a lack of communication, right? So they come to my house and they say, I'm here to install your internet. And I'm like, okay, great. Did they tell you that they need to do something with the line? And they said, no, I don't know anything about this. So then they would leave, and then we send another technician. So nobody knew what was happening, and I didn't know what was happening. But when they did come to install my internet, I felt quite prosperous because they brought not one, not two, not three, four, five, or seven technicians. They brought 6 technicians. So I had an army of technicians here running from one part of the building to the other, to the roof, to the next door, to across the street. It was quite the sight. But we got the internet, and for a while there, through this frustration and this process of saying like I am struggling with the internet. I'm in a Zoom call with one of my clients. We're teaching a class, we're doing a consultation, and the connection goes away, and it's really embarrassing because even while I have been traveling since 2000, since 2019, I've been really traveling a lot, not staying more than a few months here or there in different parts of the world. I rarely have any internet problems. So to me, it didn't make sense that all this was happening while I'm already at a more permanent location. Had I known, I would have, hired the internet from way before to avoid going through this very embarrassing process with you and everybody. But the point here is that through this frustration, it made me feel that element of broken trust and lack of reliability. I kept feeling, where are the people who will say, I'll be there on time at this time, and that will do it? I am very much like that. I am very much of the opinion that punctuality is extremely important. This is why Saturn has blessed me quite a bit, because I am quite adamant about punctuality and discipline. That is why many things in my life have worked very, very well, because I don't like being late. For me, it's like the worst thing you can do, because time is the most valuable asset that we have. It's more valuable than money. If you have all the money in the world, but you have no time left, you're set. But if you have no money and you have 5 years ahead of you and you are aware of it, you can do anything. You can become a billionaire within a few months, because you'll say, well, I have 5 years left. Let me enjoy the time that I have left. So time is more valuable than money. So no matter how much you make per hour, the time that is invested there is always greater. It's always greater. So I kept asking, where are those people? Where are the people who are honest, who, if something happens, they'll face the consequences? Where are those people who will not be afraid of facing the consequences of their actions, even if other elements happened around their actions, right? There was traffic, or you overslept, or your neighbor woke you up in the middle of the night, the last night. Where are these people who have the track record? So I realized that was what I felt was lacking in the world. People who were honest and upfront and that would be reliable. So then I said, okay, towards closer to the end of the transit, I figured, let me just focus on the desire. Let me focus on something that is more aligned. Let me look at my own calendar. Let me look at my own time and be clearer in my communication. Let me be clearer and more respectful and more observant. Is there any way in which I am not being respectful? Is there any way in which I am not being punctual? Is there any way in which I'm not being as honest, as trustworthy, as reliable? Is there any way in which I'm trying to avoid consequences? So I started working on this and moving it towards the desire. I desire to have more of that in my life, more punctuality, more time, more people who are upfront, more opportunities for me to be upfront and sincere and be properly understood, not to be misunderstood. So you see, the exercise is to train yourself, to train your mind to move from lack into desire. And then you need to work really hard on ensuring that that is what you are giving out from you, that you are on time, that you are disciplined. So I started doing sun salutations every day. Sun salutations every day. And I started feeling my body change a lot, because I haven't done sun salutations in a few months actually. So I started feeling this. Okay, what actions can I start doing? But here's a very important stage of it. I wish I could teach a course about this now that I think of it. I should just write the steps down. Step number 1 is to become aware of the lack. Step number 2 is move that lack into desire. Step number 3, start pouring that from you into the world. Step number 4 is to acknowledge when the world will offer you more of what you seek. And this is where it starts happening. And we should never dismiss it. And I saw it on the last day of the transit. We have a lady who comes and cleans the house that we hired, and she's such a beautiful woman, such a caring presence. Uh, and yeah, this is when the cleaning lady incident happened. She came and she did the cleaning. She starts by the kitchen, and I remember hearing that something kind of like slammed, right, and something broke almost at the beginning, and then she finished the whole thing that she was cleaning. So during the hours that it took her to clean the home, she was carrying that thing that broke in her mind, in her conscience, right? So that really sucks, right? That you feel that experience of like, oh, I'm so ashamed, I broke something that isn't mine. It's a terrible experience. You feel very ashamed, you feel embarrassed, you feel, I don't know, you feel guilty. It's not comfortable. And I can't imagine how she felt. That I remember even a couple of times I was just in a better mood that day, through all these internet experiences. And I was complimenting her. I was saying this and that. I remember she had these beautiful earrings that were like this flower, Noche Buena. I forgot the name in English. The flower that blooms during the season, which is like the Christmas uh, associated flower, winter flower. She had earrings of that, and I said, "Oh, you're very prepared for the holidays. You're very seasonal." She laughed and everything. So here I go complimenting her. Unbeknownst to me, she broke this, so she might have felt a little bit, I don't know, uncomfortable about it. At the end, before she left, she came up to me and she confessed. She said, "You know what? I'm so embarrassed. I broke this." Uh, I don't even know the word in English of the thing that she broke. It's like something an artisan made that you use in the kitchen to help you keep the kitchen clean. Uh, and she said, "Please discount it from my pay." How could I? How could I? How could I ever think of something like that? You are the person I've been looking for. For weeks, I've been looking for you. I've been looking for you. You are heaven sent. You are an envoy. You are a messenger of God. Because thanks to you saying that, and even on top of that, you have the integrity of saying, discounted from my pay. This probably is more expensive, this item, than what we pay her to come. And she did the whole cleaning, and she did it well. It's not like she did it and she knows she's going to get this discounted, so she might half-ass it or say something so that next time she'll never come and she'll just go up and smoke and never come again. No. How could I? So you see, you cannot, should not dismiss when it finally comes. A sign, a breath of fresh air. I felt so good in her presence in that moment. I felt, oh my God, you are unafraid. You are the type of person that I want to elevate in life. So of course I'm not going to discount it. I even sent her a message a couple hours after she left to ensure, hey, I just wanted to say, don't worry about it. I'll see you next week. Please forget about it. I even told her it's good luck, because when someone comes to your house and they by mistake break something, it actually clears up the energy. So it clears up something that has been stagnant. So I said, thank God. This is good luck. Finally, she could have said nothing. She could have dismissed it. She could have pretended that it was already broken. She could have pretended that it wasn't her. You name it. But she didn't. She truly didn't. There is this woman, twice my age probably, showing what needs to be shown in the world. That integrity. I found it to be a very, very auspicious sign. I told her everything is okay, everything's good. And in fact, like I said, it's good luck. So you see, that is the message that I want to give. When you go through a certain period of density, try your hardest to reflect, open up your mind. And meditation helps, my friends. Meditation helps so much here. Understand the themes. And then use this exercise of manifestation so you can start seeing more of what you want to see in the world. And you can change the world. You can elevate this. Understand that you can see the lack, train yourself to transmute that lack into a desire. Reflect on where that might be missing in your life and make sure that it is there. Bring something out from you into the world to move in that direction of the desire. And when the desire starts showing those precious, those baby forms that are finally springing back into the world, be gentle with them, care for them, be kind with them, protect them, foster, cultivate them. And then you start seeing a little bit more and a little bit more. Don't turn off your awareness. Don't turn off the enlightenment about it. Continue seeking it out. Continue bringing it forth. And don't shut it down. Don't dismiss it. Because if I had been mad, if I had dismissed it, not only is she never going to come back, maybe next time she goes to somebody's house, she might as well never say it. Oh, I broke this. No. She might turn to the type, I don't know, right? This is just a theory, an example. The person might turn into that idea of someone who comes to your house, breaks something, never says anything about it. So you see, you have the possibility in your life to do something different, to do something greater. Wow, that is a long video. I thought this was going to be a short one, ladies and gentlemen, but that's all really I want to share for today. Well, I hope this helps. I hope this has been an interesting talk to you. I hope you enjoy talking with me in these videos. It is my true honor and pleasure to share this. I hope this helps. And if it did, please share, comment, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell me what resonated with you. Share it across social media and all these things. It really, 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 really helps a lot, and I'll be very grateful. And if you do, I'll be so grateful that if you share my video and you tell me, hey, I want to hear what you think about this, I'll be more than happy to talk about it in gratitude to each and every single one of you. So that is all for now. I wish you a fantastic week ahead. Please take good care of yourselves. Wish you all the best. Take care.